Thank everybody for watching today. Today our guest is a gold and platinum selling recording artist who revolutionized the gospel quartet music industry all through the 90s and the early 2000s with a string of hits that have sold records beyond measure. Would you please put your hands together and welcome Mr. Harvey Watkins and Marilyn Lucius of the legendary Canton Spirituals. All right, guys, we are certainly glad to have you here today on the Talk of the Town. I've been knowing you guys for a long time. We've been friends like family for over 30 plus years. Now, Harvey, a lot of people, a lot of your fans got familiar with the Canton Spirituals doing live in Memphis 1. But take us back to the story, the Canton Spiritual story, because if I remember correctly, this group was started with your daddy and one of your uncles, am I right?
Right. The group was started in the 40s. It's like between 45 and 46 by the Reverend I.S. Watkins and Mr. Warren G. Ward and my father, the late Harvey Watkins Sr. They started the groups in the 40s. I joined 74, Marilyn joined 76, and we still do what we do.
Okay, well now, people know you. Your songs have like been a ministry more than just music to a lot of people. It helped a lot of people get through a lot of tough times. You basically, in 1979, the group kind of gained notoriety with a regional song on the J&B label. Let's tell us about that one.
That was I'm Coming Lord, which was written by Harvey Watkins Sr. I was forced to sing that against my will, but it was God's will, and the Lord blessed the effort, and we've been singing lead ever since. When I joined the group, I was just a bass player.
So you actually was a musician before you started?
I was a servant and a musician. And that's what a lot of us have to learn, that we have to serve. Sometimes it's best to serve to be a good leader. You have to be a good servant also.
So that song was in 1979? 1979. So during the early and mid 80s, you guys went through a transition period with members coming and going. I think mainly you changed roles in the group. So kind of fill us in on that. So now a lot of the songs that you gained notoriety on, you actually recorded them on the J&B label, but they didn't get the national airplay that you got. And then you joined up with the Williams brothers in the late 90s, 88, 89.
Yes, sir.
And formulated a couple of hits with Melvin Williams, duets.
Yes, sir.
And then the big one, Live in Memphis 1.
Yes, sir.
Now, let everybody know about that, because that was like a awakening.
Well, the Canton Spirituals was a very good group, but it wasn't the singing that made Live in Memphis 1 popular, and it wasn't the singing that made it so popular. It was the love that me and Daddy and the group had came. You know, we had fell in love with each other. And see, first of all, talent, our gift and our talent can only take us so far, because without charity, which is love, none of that is nothing. So after we stopped playing like we was in love and fell in love for real, then God blessed us.
Right. So you come right back to the same place because you done something that had never been done before in gospel music. You went right back to the same place a few years ago and recorded another record, Live in Memphis 2, and had almost the same success.
Well, that's Jesus. Those two CDs are still in the top 10 selling quartets in the world right now. And we're not good enough to do that. Only God can do that. So I'm going to give him the credit because I know he deserved it, because I know he did.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So after doing the Live in Memphis project, which was on Blackberry, I believe that's right. It's on the Blackberry label. You guys made history, another blessing that only God could do, by signing the largest gospel quartet contract ever in history with Verity Records.
Yes, sir.
So when you went to Verity, nobody there but you representing quartets. Was that kind of odd, or what was?
Well, no, it wasn't odd. It was different, but we was in our calling. And when you're in your calling, I mean, you can do things when you're in your calling. You're not out of place when you're in your calling. So therefore, it was different, but it wasn't strenuous because we were already blessed. It wasn't like we were picking cotton. We were selling records.
Right. Well, Lucius, which is something a lot of groups are not doing, selling records right now. I mean, be honest. And I contribute that to the lack of mainstream radio.
Well, first of all, when it comes to selling records, you have to understand that, well, this is gospel. You can't get by Jesus. You got to have a blessing. You got to have his blessing and his you got to have him to really prosper in gospel music. Because first of all, he's not going to let you pimp him by just using the name gospel. That used to happen because we didn't know no better. But now we got church. We got church on TV. We got church online. We got church at home. We know better, so we should do better.
Right. Well, look, you guys have you guys have new members in the group now.
Yes, sir.
A couple of guys that are from right here in Greenville.
Yes,
when we
sir.
come back, we're going to talk to one of those members. All right.
That's fine.
Ladies and gentlemen, the legendary Canton Spirituals. For those of you that just joined us, today's guest, Mr. Harvey Watkins, legendary Canton Spirituals, and sitting here with us now, one of the newer members of the group. He's been around a long time, a Greenville, Mississippi native, Mr. Billy. So look, now you have been playing a long time. I've known you for a long time. Just kind of give me your history of how it came from the other groups that you were with actually getting to where you wanted to be.
Okay, well actually I got introduced to quartet music here with the local group called Cork Singers. And I later met, the Racy Brothers, who will be on the show appearing on September the 27th. And I actually got introduced to the Blackberry family, getting a chance to play for the Williams Brothers, is where I met the Canton Spirituals. And once I met them, from day one, we even though I was with another group, every time I interacted with the guys, they always treated me like, brothers or whatever. So it was not even like a transition to me. It was like, just coming home.
Well, now you did actually come in during that transition period, but you kind of kept that same feel and that sound, that Canton Spiritual sound. You didn't divert from what made, the group, what made the sound. So how were you able to do that? Was it something that you studied, or did you just feel it, or what?
Being from Mississippi, it's kind of hard not to study the Canton Spirituals. Every Sunday morning, the male chorus or whoever.
Y'all got one of them Fix It Jesus guys too,
Yeah,
like
got
us.
several of them. So, that wasn't hard. And when you see people already successful and their ministry is already progressing, you should want to be a part and add to it. So it was nothing to do for me, but get on the train and keep going that way. It wasn't a sense to bring Billy Boss to the situation because, as he said, you should want to be a servant first. So.
Right, so now you have actually gotten into being a big part of producing the group's later music. And how do you feel about that? Was that challenging, or how did you step up to the plate?
Well, actually, being under his direction or whatever, and traveling up and down, a lot of y'all just see us on stage. Y'all don't understand. We actually live together, so we ride together, we stay together. So we kind of to the point now to where we can vibe off each other, and I can kind of look at him and tell what he wants and what he's thinking, and I think he can do, he does us the same way, and he's also the type of lead singer that allows us
to express yourself,
right. So he's not the type of guy that I want it this way and this the way it has to be. I used to hear him tell other guys, if you want to be successful, keep younger guys around you. And
right.
He doesn't just say that, he actually lives like that.
Right. It ain't like Willie Banks. I want my music played just like I want it. Like that. I had to get that with him, old Banks fan, right? But look, so now you've actually gone from being a producer to actually promoting concerts, because you and your friend, DeMarcus McKinley,
right.
Pooh, everybody know him as,
right.
Y'all have an annual event.
Right.
And now you guys having another one on September 27th. Tell us about that.
Well, Harvard, we come here every year in March, and so Harvard decided this time, because we get such a great turnout, and we have a close friend of one of the groups, Lee Williams of the Spiritual QC, so him and Harvey are very close friends. So Harvey came to me and the rest of the guys, Pooh, which actually sings with a group here called Redeem, and he was like, you know, what do y'all think the people would feel like if we bring a concert here to honor Lee Williams? And we was like, let's try it, you know. So far we've been getting great turnout. I mean, great response on it. Whatever. September the 27th here at the Washington County Convention Center. We'll be honoring Lee. We'll also be performing the Canton Spirituals. We have Reverend Andrew Cheers and the Songbirds, the Racy Brothers from Arkansas, Chosen from Little Rock, and you know you'll be hearing more about it. We have TV commercials. Right.
Well, we're gonna support it, you know, because we family. The Songbirds are my family. So now, Harvey, you got that sound like that's gonna be like a family reunion, a family gathering. You and all your friends, longtime friends.
Yes, sir. You know we've been singing. We sing all the time, especially quartets. We sing all the time, and we always receiving. So I decided we ought to just, you know, let's honor somebody else and let's do some giving. You know, and because when we give, God will bless us. So I figure Lee been singing a while and he's been blessed. So I feel like we all honor him.
Okay, so now Harvey, we got to wrap it up. Okay. But what's your plans for the future of the Canton Spirituals? I know you're going to follow God. I know that. Well, that's easy. Yeah.
I'm glad you know it. Because what I'm going to try to do, I'm going to try to follow the steps that the Lord have for me. And I'm going to try to walk in those steps. And if I stay in those steps, I'll be okay.
Now, you have been one of the few guys that have had longevity in this business, in the quartet industry. Can you give some of our younger quartet brothers some advice before we leave the show, if you had something to say to them?
One word: patience. Have patience. It's not like, everything is not a microwave. You can't get everything overnight. You got to have patience.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Harvey Watkins, Billy Voss, Marilyn Lucius, the legendary Canton Spirituals. Give it up for them. Now back to Hallie K.